The obsession with more makes you feel empty inside, but quality will help lead to happiness. Unfortunately, most marketing folk are clueless on this particular perspective. This is my online toolbox providing weekly quick tips and reminders in all facets of marketing for the construction remodeling industry trades. The emphasis is grow your business with more quality leads. We target all aspects of online marketing with a hybrid of education, a strategy, and then an implementation to make it happen. Before continuing, please feel free to like us on the My Online Toolbox Facebook page or subscribe to us on the My Online Toolbox YouTube channel to get alerts on our weekly posts. And last week, we had a wonderful perspective on specifically realizing that 2023 marketing dreams can come true, but there is some decisiveness now focusing in on learning on how to get to that objective. Please go back to last week if you missed that episode. This week, we're focusing in on specifically quality. And what we want people to realize is that there's a generation, we're not necessarily saying focused on age, but there's a generation that has been guided, starting with even social media, where it guides them to quantity in order to judge success. And that problem is that too much is focused on simply on how much you could produce, but there's a result of endless shallowness. It's like kind of like Halloween, where kids go around to fill up their containers with as much as possible. Then they go home to sift through to find out their favorite candy. We want you to take a step back and realize when it comes to marketing, your life, at least our life and the clients that we work with, they don't want to constantly get a plethora of too much and then go through the process of trying to figure out what exactly it is that they're looking for. So you have to realize that when an entire generation is guided, especially in marketing, where they believe that it starts with quantity. Unfortunately, that follows through on many, many different aspects of how they design their thought process, from websites, SEO, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and whatnot. And so you must realize that there are a lot of people, a lot of companies that spend their time with their objectives of focusing in, similar to me, where I go to find the candy that I wanted, and I would go around the block to get it a second time for that matter, rather than just keep going and filling up and feeling satisfied by having too much and then throwing away the majority. You must think of that same analogy when it comes to building your business, because many of the successful companies, that's the way they run their business for 1 to 5 to 10 years out. Counting controls way too much of our lives. And we're not talking about having no controls, but most have a tendency to glorify how many followers and likes they get, but they don't really focus in on whether those are quality followers and likes. And of course, we all want to feel compelled to say we do a quality job. The reality is that as you tend to do more of anything, as much as you want to say that it's all equal quality, you have to have some real good controls in place to be able to prove it over an extended period of time. And there is a limit. And the reality is, if you really judged the limit and said, which one do you want to guide your principles in life? We will take quality over quantity any time, because as market conditions change, as customer projects change, when you focus in on quality, you could deal with it much better economically and with the relationship than you can in quantity. It really doesn't matter what anyone says, it's just a fact. So the warning is, you have to realize that you're surrounded by people that like to use these buzzwords interchangeably, and they just don't recognize it. They don't have enough experience to be able to say there is a difference. So they say it as a buzzword, they read it in a book somewhere, and then start saying it over and over again, and then worse is that they believe it. So keep that in mind, that you must take the first step with quality in mind. If it doesn't come from your heart and soul and someone's just convincing you, like us, I don't want to convince you. My Online Toolbox doesn't want to convince you. You have to believe that when you set the tone of wanting everything around you to be done just right first and then build the quantity second, so much happens. So realize that targeting fewer but replaced with strength in relationships and the quality of those relationships will set your path for many years out. Don't dwell on analysis paralysis, meaning you get report after report after report of endless information that when you look at it, it's driving you towards quantity decisions without even considering quality. So focus in on quality and make sure that when you're looking at whatever it is that's driving you with your marketing decisions, that somehow quality is included. And if it's not, just realize that you're being sucked into trying to do more, but then again, you're going to be forced to do less of the right thing as opposed to more. It's a foundational approach, not for next week or month or your quarterly goals, but for life. And warning, this is your decision. It's not a marketing person's decision. Yes, of course, My Online Toolbox wants you to follow that branding initiative in order to grow your business. But if you don't believe it yourself, it's just like kind of like joining a gym and you feel like you want to quickly get healthy because the coach convinced you to get healthy. But if you don't want to get healthy, you're eventually going to slack off and not go to the gym. So why join in the first place? That's the understanding you have to take to heart when it comes to the branding of your business and knowing that the brand should be based on quality and then quantity comes second fiddle. We want to even show you, we've been talking about this now actually for 30 plus years, but in this industry, almost 15 years, where we've been targeting the quality of marketing before anything else. And as the quantity grew, we were able to always adjust because we surround ourselves with the right target audience from the beginning. And this is My Online Toolbox reminding you that whether you have a website or no website, it's a decision on how you move forward with everything you do. The websites themselves, the social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Don't just be in such a rush to hit a goal. Take a step back, and if you need to postpone that goal by a week or two or a month for that matter, no one's going to care, especially when you start to measure it on a 1 to 5 to 10-year basis. So keep that in mind. That even the awards that we like to promote, we tend to go back many, many years because the principles of quality are getting harder and harder with the industry, predominantly because there's so many quote unquote marketing specialists that love to say through their last summer experience or whatever it is that they were doing with another company that all of a sudden that's going to work, not just maybe for another company or two, because it does. There are many industries that can just quickly get something under their belt with quantity and then they feel that they're doing well. But the problem is we really don't know what's going to happen 1 to 5 to 10 years out as you start to evolve with quantity in mind and attempt to adjust with quality. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about growing your business. Is it quantity or quality first or vice versa? This is My Online Toolbox reminding you that the obsession with more will make you feel empty long term. Quality will help lead to your happiness. So please remember to like us on our Facebook page, subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. Never forget to start planning yesterday for next year's marketing and profits. Have a healthy week, and we will see you next week.